Good day everyone. Our presentation is titled Tracing Media's Evolution and Revealing the Mechanism of Evolution. We're going on a journey through history to see how humans have developed increasingly complex ways to communicate and record information. So here's a look and what we will be covering. First, a brief history of media and communication to set the stage. Next, we will look at the forms of communication in different ages, from non-verbal cues to the printed world. And finally, we will explore the crucial relationship between traditional and new media and how they coexist and compete today. So to understand media, we must start at the very beginning. Humans are social beings. Before we could speak in complex sentences, we relied on non-verbal cues such as gestures, facial expressions, and primitive sounds to communicate. So first, we have the dawn of writing. The ability to write changed everything. It began in Mesopotamia around 7000 to 600 before Common Era, driven by a very practical need to record numbers for counting and tracking goods. Initially, tracking involved very basic methods like counting on fingers. This involved in mnemonic systems like noting on trees or carving on stones. So this practical need is what gave birth to pictographic system, where a symbol looks like the object it represents. Think of early cave drawings or marks made on animal skins. While pictograms were useful, they were very difficult to learn and draw, and they could only represent objects, not sounds and complex ideas. This brings us to the next great leap, the alphabet or the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians, who were renowned traders and seafarers, needed a simpler way to conduct business across cultures. They developed an alphabetic script with about 22 letters. Unlike pictograms that represented an object, each Phoenician symbol represents a consonant sound, marking the major transition toward modern alphabets. The Romans were instrumental in spreading and refining this system. They adopted and modified the Phoenician script to create the Latin alphabet, which is the basis for most modern European languages and even the one we use today.
Before printing became widespread, communication was very slow and limited. As communities grew larger, there was a need to send messages quickly, especially during important events like war or emergencies. During this time, different methods were used to deliver messages over long distances. Some examples include heralds who announce official news, drums and fire or smoke signals for quick alerts, and messengers who traveled to deliver private or government messages. An interesting example is the ancient Persian system, similar to a Pony Express, which shows how early societies attempted to create a mail service. However, there were major limitations back then. Most information was shared through speaking or handwritten documents. Copying a single document took a lot of time, since everything was written by hand and then posted in public places. This made communication mostly one way. People could read or hear the message, but they couldn't respond easily. Also, only the ruling class or wealthy groups usually had access to these messages. So, as we can see, communication in the pre-industrial period was slow, exclusive, and often controlled by those in power. Speaking of printing, let us talk about the printing evolution. The invention of printing technology was a major turning point in history because it made books and other reading materials much cheaper and easier to produce. This allowed more people to learn and gain knowledge, not just the wealthy and educated. Although the modern printing press was developed in Europe, early forms of printing had already existed in Asia. For example, in China, during the Ming Dynasty, printed news sheets were produced as early as 1582 in Beijing. Meanwhile, in Japan, block-printed handbills were already being used in the 17th century. These early printing practices helped spread information faster in their societies. So, in short, printing opened the doors for education and communication to become more available to the public.
So now, let's move on to forms of communication in different age na ay upat, prehistoric, industrial, electronic ug ang new age. Sa prehistoric, communication was based on earthy symbols and cave drawings. Sa una nga panahon ng atong mga ancestor kay maghimo sila og mga drawings sa cave walls like mga tawo-tawo nga nagsaya-saya or unsa pa na dira. It conveyed knowledge, stories, or even warnings sa atong future generation. Kini po siya nga evidence kay nagpakita nga ang atong ancestors were not only living but also communicating. Next kay ang industrial age, or also known as the printing press. Kay diri na-release ang books, journals, o newspapers. Diri pod na-invent ang telegraphs, o ang telephones, pati pod ang photography. Electronic age na pod. Dire nagsugod ang development sa radios and televisions, which is ang information kay naging mas accessible na siya. Eventually, nagkanaapod og computers og internet. Maotong ang exchange of information kay ning paspas. Tapos, speaking of paspas, diri sa new age, mas nilevel up pa jud ang pagkapaspas sa exchange of information kay mao ni ang digital age or ang present, which is ang atong mga gipanggamit karon. Mao ni ang smart apps and streaming services or social networking apps or sites rather. So diri ni spread out ang information, like naabot na siya sa international or bisag asa na siya padulngan, or ni paspas jud siya. And diri po sa new age atong matakol ang differences sa traditional o sa new media, which is i-discuss ni Guada karon.
Moving on to our next topic, relationship between traditional and new media. What is traditional media? It is older forms of mass communication like television, radio, newspapers, and magazines that transmit information via analog technology or non-internet platforms. So meaning they deliver information to the public but usually in a one-way communication. The audience can receive the message but cannot easily respond or interact. Now, let's break down its core characteristics. First, communication style. It is one-way communication broadcast model where information flows from a sender to a large audience. Second is audience interaction. It is limited or no direct audience feedback or no interaction. Last is access, scheduled and time dependent, with user accessing content when it is broadcast or published, not necessarily when they want. Next is the new media. It is digital platform and content that use the internet, such as websites, social media, blogs, online games, and VR or AR. It has the same characteristic of traditional media. Communication style. It is multi-directional and interactive, allowing for conversation in a web of information sharing. Audience interaction. High level of user participation through commenting, sharing, and creating content. Last is access. On demand, allowing users to access information when and where they want through internet-connected devices. They have the same characteristics but different meanings. As the slide indicates, new media refers to the digital platforms and content that rely on the internet. This is a broad category including everything from website and social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok to blogs, online games, and even immersive technologies like VR and AR. Difference is that traditional media, TV, print, radio is one-way and scheduled, while new media, online digital, is two-way, on-demand, and interactive. Traditional media disseminates information from a sender to a large, passive audience, whereas new media allows users to become content producers, interact with content in real time, and access it at any time on digital devices. The slide provides the key takeaway, the fundamental difference between these two models. To put it concisely, the main difference is the traditional media is one-way and scheduled, while new media is two-way, on-demand, and interactive.
Now, finally, let's talk about how traditional media and new media are actually connected. Today, many traditional media outlets like TV, radio, and newspapers have moved to digital platforms. Because of this, the content we consume has become a mix of both old and new styles. We still watch TV shows and listen to radio programs, but now we can also access them online anytime we want. Even if the lines get blurred, their main experiences are still different. Traditional media feels like a broadcast, scheduled at a certain time, and we just tune in. Meanwhile, new media is more flexible. It is on demand, meaning we choose what we want and when we want it. Plus, it allows us to interact. We can comment, share, or even create our own content. What's most important here is how audiences have changed. Before, we were mostly passive, just watching or listening. But with new media, we have become active participants and even co-creators of information. We now take part in the conversation and not just receive it. So, to summarize today's discussion, the rise of new media didn't erase traditional media. Instead, it transformed how we experience and engage with content today. And that wraps up our discussion in tracing media's evolution throughout the years. We hope that you have learned a lot in unraveling the mechanisms of evolution of media, and I hope that we will use these media in our advantage today. Thank you very much.